Meathead, Shema, Booga, Miles. This one's for Queen. This one's for Young Money. Hey yo, Egyptian, tell them to go on eviction. This one, yeah, it's a bad gal edition. See them gal, the contradiction. Them say them sitting tight, a bare fiction. The whole of them a bit, body smoking, cigarette, shit nice, cigarette. Get them the rollerblades, tell them to ski it. Sound on them, Jamaican tip. All I do is sign booths and be taking pics. Without the new bins, the color of bacon bits. Got a spot in every state, Dalmatian bitch. And it's young money, old money, real good money. Into a feature that wasn't on Billboard, honey. Kingston, Rima, Waterhouse, Jungle, Bobby. Now I've enough gal in a bubble.
Yeah, you give me this bring everything in my life. Yeah, we just want to warrior, everything around you. Yeah, you give me this holding everything in my life. Like a fast bike on the ball, boom, 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 boom. Your body like a chair, boom, 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 boom. Feel my come on like the button, boom, boom. But I'm fast and I see I get my boom, boom. See if there was a damn joke, I was there, she was the dance. She's a boyfriend who runs till she grown. I see the rocket who got me what me want. Put me on sides around, yeah. Yeah, you give me like this, hold me everything in my life. Yeah, me just swap it warrior, put me arms right around you. Yeah, you give me like this, hold me everything in my life. Like a pass by money roll, boom, boom, boom. Your body back at the boom, boom. Me man a wonder if I go through, but I rap and tell me I must watch my food. She's about the control, I'm going for she wants in her soul. I said a boyfriend who runs till she grown. I still be running by the money and the puppy wall. Put the things that I know you, yeah, you give me the practice. Well, me ever get seen in my life. Yeah, me just swap it all, yo. Put the arms right around you. Yeah, you give me the practice. Well, me ever get seen in my life. Yeah, you want me to squeeze, yo. Put the feet right around you. Yeah, you give me the practice. Well, me ever get seen in my life. Ooh. I never try and do not care. They take it anytime, anywhere. You got it clear, so we don't care. And as a woman, I will be there. You want a girl like the girl. You want a girl like that, like for me. I'm ready to create. Show me that you're your girl. Y'all be walking warrior. Put me on right around, y'all. Yeah, you give me the kindness. Bring me ever get seen in my life. Yeah, we just want to be warrior. Put me thing all around you. Yeah, you give me the kindness. Want me ever get seen in my life. Oh, oh yeah. Oh, oh, oh yeah. My life, around you. My life.
All right, you all. It's a Nikki kind of day. I'm not gonna even lie. You know what? Something came up today. It was a news story about her baby. Her baby is so pretty. Her baby is a gorgeous little boy. So big up to Nikki being a mama. When you're a mama, I tell you, you look at the world differently. We already know. But I'm telling you, I was in my Nikki bag all day today, y'all. And you know, even in my even though I have a lot of her in my one particular playlist, I put it on shuffle and they just kept playing her songs back to back to back. So something big is about to go down with that Sag. Something big is about to go down with her. I definitely believe it. My energy is telling me it is. But I was in my Nikki bag today and just so proud of her. She's glowing. She's glowing really beautifully with that baby boy. And that baby boy is a big boy. That's going to be a very proud son. Oh my gosh. Tanjine, really? I'm telling you, and I don't even follow. When I tell you I don't follow her like that, I just, I respect talent. I respect, her I respect her passion. I really, really do. I haven't always agreed with some things she's rapped about, and of course her brother and that whole pedophilia thing was ridiculous. But and she took that L with Remy Ma. We just got to call an ace a ace and a spade a spade. She took that L with Remy Ma. But even the fact that she showed her face after that, big ups to Nikki. Come on, y'all. Hey, Taylor. Y'all, we're about to glow in tonight. I don't know if anybody saw on my community tab. If you haven't seen it, check it out. On my community tab, we're supposed to be discussing a particular video tonight. And the reason why this is the first time I've ever done a content creator review of a video or response video or something like that. This is the first time I've ever done something like that because I just don't feel like that's necessary, especially if they're a really big content creator. It's not really necessary for me to, review their piece. Like I'll share the videos. Y'all know I don't have no problem doing that. But thank you so much. That's right, Taylor. Let's hit that like. But I was in the store yesterday. There's some wines. It's a red wine. It's called Tailor Made, and I did not have my phone, so I couldn't take a picture for you, Taylor. But I thought it was the cutest thing, and I thought that'd be a great idea for your fitness company, Tailor Made Fitness. I'm telling you, that's a beautiful name. I've always loved the name Taylor. So kudos, big ups to you, Taylor. Big ups to you. Member of Glow Nation, absolutely. So. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. So I'll share people's videos, but I usually don't review them, But when I saw this video, I was like, I could not believe how this brother was just literally speaking everything that I had thought, everything that I was saying. And I was like, we've got to unpack this. And so I went on his Instagram. I invited him to come tonight. He did not get back to me. So I said, I'm still going to go for it and do it. But a lot of people from his chat did get back to me. A lot of people from the comment section got back to me. And the woman that had the most responses on her video, on his video, she had like 400 responses. 400 likes. And then she had about 70 responses. She wrote me back and she was like, I want to be on the panel, but I work Thursday nights. And so I was like, okay, boom, we're already supposed to have something, really exciting. I can't wait to announce going on tomorrow for F-Bomb Friday. But I was like, boom, if you can come on Friday, because she said she worked that night. I said, if you can come on Friday, go ahead and let me know what time and we'll make a special live. And I said, and also because you have the most commented and the most liked comment, you're likely to get his attention more than me. And so I gave her his the content creators IG and stuff like that. So I said, get in touch with him because it'd be great if you guys can both come on and be on the panel. So I am looking forward to that. Hey, I am not fired. Why am I fired? Y'all are so funny. Hey, Sir Senior, welcome. So again, if you all have not seen, the video, if you haven't watched it yet, I'm about to play it, and y'all know tonight we're about to tag team it. We're gonna do what we did last Thursday with my boy Palmetto Star. I don't like to call my boys. With my brother in fight, my brother in arms, my fellow AT alien, Palmetto Star. He has his show and it starts at 11. So we're going to link. I'm going to drop the number because we are linking our platforms that way. It's really working well. It's working well that way. We can stream across a couple because not only is he on the Blog Talk Radio, but he's also at 11. He's also on Facebook Live and IG, and I'm over here on YouTube. So it's working well, and he has a phone line. So at 11, we're going to drop the phone. We're going to drop the number, and he's talking about, of course, Black supremacy. And the topic that we're talking about tonight is the war between Black men and Black women leading to our own genocide, our own extinction. So I'm going to put on that video. So if you all have not seen it, just tune in, take a listen. And then when we come back from listening to the video, I'll be cammed up and everything. I'm trying to get more used to being cammed up, y'all, because, I'm going to be very honest. Being cammed up puts more pressure on me to continue to do my workouts and all of that good stuff. It does. It challenges me. So I don't want to become comfortable with not camming up. So, but sometimes y'all know that if my mic starts acting wonky and funny and I keep getting booted out, I'll just go to my logo because or my avatar, just because I don't, I know it takes more bandwidth to run your camera as opposed to running just the avatar. So without any further ado, hello, it's welcome. Okay, so without any further ado, you all. So this is the video. So the person's name is the Shoemake Way, and he's from Florida. So I'm telling you, it's very rare to hear Florida guys talking like this. I'm just going to be 100% honest. It's very rare to hear, at least the ones that I've encountered. It's very rare to hear them talking like this. So when I tell you, I was just really
every kid's a winner. It's a new technique.
Sorry, I was really surprised and impressed with his whole breakdown. Like it was just really super authentic. So here we go, guys.
Are fed up with the narratives that Black men are pushing. So they are already beginning to withdraw their interest in Black men. We are in a state of emergency. Black men, y'all better stay woke. It's going down, and I guarantee you a lot of y'all ain't even seeing the signs of what's about to happen. But the guys that's overhyping interracial dating, y'all in trouble. Really, all of us in trouble. But y'all are definitely causing problems for us. I want to show y'all a couple videos, right? Because I got a point that I want to make. It's important too. Y'all need to see this. Y'all need to hear this information. And the Black women, y'all gonna enjoy this video. I guarantee you gonna enjoy it. So y'all just sit back and let me show my brothers this information that is gonna bust their motherfucking head.
Yes. If you grow up as a white girl,
Yes.
and you get attention from Black guys,
Yes.
in my experience and all the other white girls that I know, we don't think that getting attention from Black guys gives you a status of some sort. If you get attention from the white guys, you do have the status more than if you get attention from Black guys.
As a man, I'm going to have to respectfully disagree with that.
Well, as a woman who gets attention.
As a man, I'm gonna have to respectfully disagree with that. Nigga, you ain't got a leg to stand on. How you gonna tell a white woman how her culture look at her? Y'all in denial. She tell you in your face that you are not the prize. You are not as desirable as you think you are. But you in denial, and I'm gonna have to disagree with that. And you make yourself look like a motherfucking scrub on the internet for the world to see you get your damn feelings hurt. That's pathetic. It's fucking pathetic. Let's move on.
and who grew up in a white culture more than a black culture, I'm going to tell you that getting attention from black guys is not a badge of honor if you're white.
Okay.
And I'm white.
You are white.
Yes. Now, if a white girl gets attention from a white guy, that's more valuable in white culture than if she gets attention from a black guy. If she gets attention from a black guy, that doesn't make you a better anything. Like, that doesn't raise you in anybody's eyes. As a matter of fact,
In some people's eyes it does.
as a matter of fact, it's a little bit of a.
The only people that look at that like it's something that's a status symbol type situation is other guys that think like you. The majority of black culture does not look at a black man with a white woman and say, he got his shit together, I want to be like him. Only guys that look at things like you look at that you and think that. Just a little FYI.
Like, she's basically not good enough for the white, so she's good for the black guys. That's how it's looked at it.
So as you see, y'all, for the guys that be in the comment section saying that, that's not my experience. Okay, that may not be your experience, brother, but it's a popular opinion in white culture for black men to be looked at as something that you don't want to be fucked up with. As if you didn't know that already. I guess you thought you was just special and you was better than the other blacks and you were able to accomplish things that most black people can't accomplish. You were able to get you a white woman that is submissive and all that other shit. Listen, man, like I tell y'all, I don't care who you date. I have friends and family that have dated outside the race. So it ain't about that. It's about this attitude that you are the prize and all other cultures look at us in high regard like, I just have to get a black man. That's not the reality of most of these women. Most women prefer to marry their own culture. Are there some that are open to marrying outside of their culture? Hell yeah, yes it is. Because there are some people that see their lives as their own and they see themselves as individuals and they decide to go their own way. So are there white women that would definitely love and honor a black man? Yes, there are. Same thing for every other culture. But stop walking around with your chest poked out like you the shit. Because you actually ain't. And I'm finna get ready to show you. Prime time example. Finna get ready to bust it wide open. And show y'all who the prize really is in our culture. Y'all put on y'all seatbelts.
There's statistics on interracial marriage and divorce, and it's actually kind of interesting because a white man with a black woman has half the divorce rate of a white man with a white woman. And interestingly enough, if you reverse the genders and you put a black man with a white woman, they have twice the divorce rate of a white couple or a black couple. I mean, I think they apply either way.
Yeah, that's a white man telling y'all that statistically speaking, a white man and a black man, a white man and a black woman have a higher success rate when it comes to marriage than all the other groups. White men with white women included. A white man with a white woman has a higher divorce rate than a white man with a black woman. And when black men and white women get together, the divorce rate goes up higher than what it would be if a white man and a white woman got together or a black woman and a black man got together. So statistically speaking, black men with white women are the worst category to be in.
So it's interesting that if you just reverse and put a black man with a white woman versus a white man with a black woman, they actually like the divorce statistics, 400 400% more likely to get divorced. And they say that because I'm just putting this shit out there. I'm not making it up. Like, you can.
I just want to give y'all a little heads up. This man about to say something that if you're a prideful black man, it's gonna piss you the fuck off. But according to the statistics, there might be something to it.
Google it. Where go. Because I don't support Google. But they say it's because in the white culture, white men are the stronger of the two genders, and in the black culture, black women are the stronger of the two genders. And so when you get them together, they're just more likely to succeed. They probably overcome more to be together if they're in an area where there's issues with interracial dating. So, right, that's reason number one, and I find that accurate. It just seems like there's just less shit to deal with when you're dating a black girl.
Now, that don't piss you the fuck off. It pissed me the fuck off. Not the fact that this white man said that. It pissed me the fuck off that there's actually truth to it, bro. How is it that a white man can see more value in our women than we see in our women? Y'all out here chasing his woman, chasing white women, while this man clearly feels that our women are the best choice for him. That's ironic as hell, ain't it? Man, if y'all boys don't get y'all shit together, it's gonna get ugly for us, bro. It's about to get real fucking ugly for us. I'm about to make a couple predictions for y'all. Soon and very soon. I don't know how long it's gonna take for it to happen. I can't see the future. I just know that the writing is on the wall. And it's already beginning. Black women are fed up with the narratives that black men are pushing. So they are already beginning to withdraw their interest in black men. They're already getting to the point where they believe that there's no hope for us. In a little bit, and it's like I said, it's already happening. Black women are going to begin to pair up with white men at a higher rate than they already have been. Why? Because they want stability, they want a loving relationship, they want happiness, they want somebody to value them. And it appears that white men are willing to do that. While y'all out here chasing behind women that really don't see you as a status symbol, they don't see you as being a valuable person to be with. As a matter of fact, their stock goes down when they get involved with you, in most cases. And these women tend to not be able to return back to the white dating pool as easily once they've been with a black man, especially if they have biracial kids. So it's kind of like once a white woman goes black, she gotta stay black. So that's what's about to happen. White men are about to be capitalizing on the cream of the crop of our women because they look around and they can't find black men to pair up with and live that American dream. And y'all already know that once black women start a movement and that shit catch on, it's a wrap. Black women control the cool. I know you think that black men do. No. Black men become popular because black women support it. First rule in entertainment. In order for an artist to to become uber successful like Drake, men have to want to be you, and the women have to want to sleep with you. Same thing for the black women. Nicki Minaj. She is the biggest female artist, or has been for the longest, because women have wanted to be her and men wanted to have sex with her. So obviously, black women are looked at in very high regard as far as beauty and everything else. White women and other women of other cultures spend a lot of fucking money to look like black women. And have you seen black women's body? Who wouldn't want to sleep with a black woman? It's about to get real ugly for us, y'all. I'm telling you, it's coming. So my other prediction is in the next couple years, you will see me go live on YouTube, and I will be getting married to a black woman because I refuse to be left holding my nuts at the end of this damn game of musical chairs. When the music stops, y'all gonna be looking around at each other like, where we go now? I will not be a part of that crew. You guys will be left to your own devices. And that's just keeping it real, bro. I'm finna go ahead and lock me one of these successful black women down. I've been working on myself for a long time. I've been working on getting my shit together, getting my credit right, getting my income right, growing business and all that other shit. I've been proving to myself that I'm a man and I'm the kind of man that I want to be. I've been doing self-improvement. I've been in the gym. I've been getting my shit together. Not for women, for myself. But it just so happens that the shit I've been investing in to myself is something that high value women appreciate. So in the next couple years, I will be settling down with a high quality black woman, and I'm going to pray for the rest of you guys because it's about to get ugly for you. Man, I'm going to cut the video off right here, man. If you ain't already did it, subscribe to the channel, like this video, share this video, and I will see y'all on the next one.
All right, so that is Shoemaker, the Shoemake Way, the Shoemake Way. I am dropping the link. We're going to discuss. I agree, Baby Chain Gang. As a former member of the Black and Married Society, the Black and Married Club. Oh, a sapiosexual is someone who is stimulated by intellectual conversation, big words. There was like a running joke in this movie. Winona Ryder was in it. I forget the name of it, but it was a running joke with sapiosexuals. Like their orgasms increase the more times the man says words that have 3 or more syllables in the foreplay talk. Okay. Oh. Okay. All right. Cynthia is coming to the stage. Let me put my cam on. Okay. And if anybody is calling in, please let me know because you have to press 1. Okay. Oh, let me take that banner down. Hello, Cynthia. How are you, sis?
All right. How you doing?
I am good. It is almost Friday. It's gonna be a good weekend. Because I'm telling you, this week was so jam-packed with so much. But I got mostly all I needed to get done. I just have a couple of things I need to get done on. I'll probably try to do them tomorrow. So I don't have to. I don't want to do nothing on Saturday except for the panel. We do have a special panel coming up Saturday morning at 10:30. You all. It is what's legacy got to do with it. So please, men and women, let's weigh in here. Okay, let me tell this brother because he wanted me to call in, but Taylor, I'm trying.
Hey, I can't hear you. You're frozen a little bit. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I think Courtney's frozen up.
Yeah, I can. She's like frozen. I don't know what's going on. I think she's trying to let somebody come in through the call, or I don't know.
Oh, wow. So what you think about what he was saying?
So he was I mean, I can hear that much, but I know what he was reacting to the video. And yeah, basically he was saying that yeah, he still believes in black love and all that. Um, I in agreement. I think we need each other as a community because all this going outside and stuff like that. I've seen it not work out more than it has worked out. You know, going outside of the community for love or whatever. Huh?
Oh, I'm sorry. Somebody in the car with me.
Oh,
Yeah, but I think black women finna be rebranded. Like I say, the pendulum swings in extremes, and we were put on the shelf for a minute, and I think they rebranding us. I think it's gonna take, cause we can't do nothing without the white man approval. I can't pull over there. Please pull over. 1 second. Didn't hear it. Hello.
yeah, I can still hear you.
Yeah, so I think they're going to rebrand the black woman. We've been put on the shelf for a minute. Take the seat up, please. And so now it's going to be the time, and somebody's going to say that thing they see as weakness is not weakness. I mean, as bossy is not bossy, but it's strength and support in a good way, not strength and support in a bad way. And then black men will get it because a lot of times they cannot do anything without the white man approval. So it's going to take the white man to acknowledge our strength before they appreciate us, unfortunately.
I'm not
So,
sure. I'm not sure. I don't know. You know, that's an interesting point. But why do you think that is?
because the thing, they say we bossy, we take over, we do this and we do that. Well, those actually, the ability to set goals and follow through, what they term aggressive. And some white men gonna see that, like with Serena and with Eve, and when you see them black men, black women getting these men of that, but as well as our making it in the political arena, like how we came through and we took Alabama when Roy Moore, that pedophile, was running. And we're doing those things on those fronts, and somebody gonna stop saying they're not bossy, they're accomplished. And it's gonna take a white man to recognize that in us until they begin to recognize the things they call our weaknesses or deficits. Somebody's gonna rebrand that as positives. And it's gonna take a white
Well,
man to do it.
I have a question though. Do you think do you think black women who are, you know, movers and shakers and revolutionaries and stuff that do all this political lobbying and all that stuff, that they get stuff done out there in that realm? Do you think they're not able to turn off the aggression when they get in the presence of black men?
I think they want to get in a position of where they don't have.
You sound kind of wait. You sound a little choppy, like robotic.
Again, when I get.
I can't hear you. Sorry. I think you might have something running at the same time as the stream. Oh, she just left. Omega, can you hear me? Can anyone hear me? Hello? I think y'all are frozen. Something's going on. But I guess what I was asking, Miss J, that was her her icon, but what I was asking her was, do you think there's a time and a place for the yeah, I was asking, do you think there's a time and a place for all the stuff that we do out there in that realm? Because that calls for us to be, you know, a little more aggressive, as opposed to when we get in the presence of men that we're supposed to like love and cherish, and who are supposed to cherish and love us and all that. They isn't there like a? I feel like there should be an off switch when it comes to the whole, you know, this needs to get done, that needs to get done thing. Hey, Tanjon,
Hey,
can you
family.
hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Great. Hey. Um, yeah, I'm with you on that. However, me personally, I think the brother was on point what he says, but as far as black women just literally picking white guys, I think for some of us, it's just I'm tired of it. You know, I'm trying to love a black man and he don't want to love me. You know what I'm saying? So maybe a white guy would do it. But for me personally, I've always seen it as I would never go back to the plantations. I don't care how nice they are. I don't care if they smile in my face. I don't care if they wave $1 million in my face. Not one white dude can do nothing for me but make me throw up. Now, I tell you this though, I will keep my options open. And I said it before. You know me, Courtney, she knows I'm crazy about Jamaican men. And something's going on with our American black men. A lot of them. You got a few that's standing up for the sisters, and some sisters don't get it, but you got a lot of, you got right now. You got this whole thing YouTube likes. They like to see gender bashing between black men and women, which I think is so unprofessional of those who partake in that. I think it's wrong. But for me personally, I prefer to keep my options open. If I have to talk to a foreign black man, I'll do it. But I will not go back to the plantations and kill off, you know what I'm saying? Listen, I wouldn't do it. I think black love will come back. I think a lot of brothers are going to see it before it's too late. They're going to turn their backs on Becky because all Becky want out of it is a baby and child support. She doesn't have to really be with this black man. She don't really care. All this about valuing black men, they don't. Not even Asian women value black men. All they see is what he can do in the bed. I've always told people this. All they want is a baby out of it. Then they're single mothers again. They're the actual highest rate of single motherhood. Asian and white women from a black man. There was an old YouTube channel. I don't know if it's still there up. Y'all can look it up. But there's a Polynesian woman who bragging about taking her baby daddy, the black man, to child support. And she's trying to get him for everything. He married her and everything. And I think he cheated on her one time. And that whole family said, that's it. That's what y'all people do. That's what y'all do. And it's like, he's right about that. Some brothers carry themselves like they all that. Everybody want them, man. Black women, get your life together. Otherwise, I'm finna hit that dough. I'm finna go simp for some new panties until I get the right one. You see what I'm saying? It's like, wow, it's deep because it made our own brothers made us feel like there's something wrong with us. Oh, your mouth. Well, I've seen white women talk to black men crazy. crazy. And he over here just brushing it off like, oh, you know, she be getting mad. You know how she is. So that tells me the whole time you just don't like who you are. You don't like who you are. A lot of us are outspoken, but we're speaking on some real stuff. While you got the whining and loudmouth complaining a lot, Becky, that you're with. So, and then you're not happy. Now look at Kanye West has won. Brothers lost their lives over a white woman. He cheated on her with a black woman, and then now he's dead now, and she doesn't even get charged. It's just a lot of things. 4 Asian women last year got 4 black brothers, baby daddies, lost their lives over an Asian woman. Okay, because he don't want to just keep one of them. He didn't want to just have his daughters. He want her back. He gonna do all he can to get her back. And it's like that's kind of deep. And that happened in Millbrae, California, not too far from where I live. You know, by the Caltrain station. This man got his head blown off by her new boo. And China paid billions of dollars. She came out and said she had him killed, and they still bailed her out. She's home free. So, you know, our brothers gonna have to see if they're gonna get hit with that brick. You don't understand. This is why we're the way we are because we've been broken. All we did was try to love you, and then being a housewife don't work. Being a housewife don't work. So the brothers got to get it together, man. You got to appreciate what you got. When you got with us in the first place, understand we may have a little flaws. You do too. You're not perfect. But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Long as I can cook, long as you can keep rent paid, long as I can help us build some money together, you know, long as we're raising the kids right, you ain't leaving the kids by themselves, we're going to be fine. We're going to, man, and live happy. Live cool. You know what I'm saying? Chill. Kick back. You know what I'm saying? It's not about trying to rah a woman in her ears. That's what I don't like. That's what I keep on hearing a lot of these brothers on YouTube. You know, that's why I don't get with black women, because she don't like to listen. Listen to what? What are you babbling about? You sound like a female now. And that's how come a lot of us be wanting out the relationship, because you're not making it for us to love you. You're not giving us a chance to love you. You know, we supposed to just love you, giving us orders. And that's unfortunate. But, you know, I'm going to rest my mic, and I think I'm going to come back and say one more thing. And then you know me, I don't stay too long. I got my 2-year-old, plus I'm cooking, and I'm doing hair products. I'm making hair products and stuff. So, yeah. Anyway, yes, continue with the knowledge. I think it's beautiful. I think this will help our brothers to see what they need to see so they can understand, dude, this ain't that serious. I don't need to be dating out my race. I want to keep I like my little black chocolate baby girls, my little black chocolate brothers, my little sons, my little kings that look like me. And you start acting like that and start getting more of that, it wouldn't be no complications between the relationship, because you love you first. You took care of you first. Now you want the lady who take care of herself and be prepared to be ready. And we be ready for you, King. Anyway, I'll just get off. And I love y'all. Y'all keep up with the knowledge. I gotta go take care of my 2-year-old and get on, you know, finish doing my little arts and crafts. And I'll talk to you guys later. Love y'all.
Okay, bye. Omega, can you hear me? Okay, I'll just say this. I am like talking to someone right now. And we have a lot of conversations pertaining to this topic. About black men and women, and I don't like to say black men versus black men. Because it just, I don't know. I don't even like clicking on titles where it says black men versus black women. There should be no versus. This isn't Street Fighter. I feel like we need to have adult conversations about this type of thing, because this is getting ridiculous. I've lived in Florida and Texas. Those are the only 2 places I've lived in. And I gotta tell you, it's just a weird experience out here, knowing that black guys your age don't really mess with you like that, you know? Now I've had very pleasant experiences with black guys older than me, but it doesn't go so far as a nice gesture, like holding the door or, you know, asking me how my morning was, you know. So I assume they didn't really want anything else from me, like as far as like a relationship or whatever. But guys my age, they have this kind of like, either they're just flat out, they give the vibe that they don't like you or they don't message you like that, or they're almost kind of like timid, you know. They have their head down when they talk to you, all that kind of stuff. It's a very weird experience. They have their head down when they talk to you. You can't, they refuse to make eye contact with you. Um, that kind of thing. It's like, I don't know. I never saw myself as that much of an intimidating woman, but um, I don't know. The guy I'm talking to now, we talk about like how, like with the dynamics in America and how marriage is kind of at an all-time low for everybody. Divorce is high for everybody in America, but for Black men and women, the dynamics are just like choppy with how many women versus Black men have kids out of wedlock, and how many women and men in the Black community have have never been married and still have kids out of wedlock. How many people have no kids and are not married, or how many people have kids and aren't married and are married. Like, it's weird. Um, it just seems uneven, and I think the typical consensus across a lot of these channels is when they say the statistics, they say that sorry, I keep saying I'm sorry, guys, I got to work on that, but they they say that, like, basically the general consensus is that a large majority of the Black women in the community are sharing a small minority of the men, which is scary. It's like, are we really passing these guys around like that? It's just, that's scary, you know. What we're, and if the small minority of men are like really the ones having all these kids, where are the other where's the majority of the Black men that they say don't have kids and aren't married or single, all that stuff? Like, I feel like a lot of them are dating out, to be honest. I feel like personally a lot of them are dating out, or a lot of them are choosing to be single for long periods of time, for whatever reason. Maybe they just don't believe in dating right now. Because I've met a lot of Black guys online and otherwise that say basically they just focused on stockpiling some money, and they'll deal with women later on in their life. They're comfortable with being single and all that. I think Sir Senior wants to come in. Um, he said, "Can you pull up?" I believe Sir Senior wants to come in the stream. It's in the link, Sir Senior. The link is in the chat. And to Janiyah Perry, marriage for me is the end goal, but it doesn't seem to be the end goal for a lot of people, a lot of young people in general. It doesn't seem to be the end goal. Me, I want to be married before I'm 30. Oh, okay. Hi, Sir Senior.
Hi, how are you? How are you doing?
I'm fine. Omega went silent on me. I just see your icon. I was just trying to like.
No problem. I was the one that posted. I have to, on StreamYard, you have to highlight. So I know he wanted to pull up. That's why I kept dropping the link. So I'm here, even though, you know, I'm not on the panel, but I'm here, girl. I got it.
Okay, sorry. I was just talking, and I was like, oh, let me just talk until like Omega can come back.
No, but I was saying, when you kept saying he wants to pull up, I was the one that kept putting the message up on the screen, so I know he wanted to pull up. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that kind of like, it kept throwing me off, because I was just like, what is? So I kept hopping out and hopping back in to see if he got the message. But welcome to the panel, and thank you so much, Taylor. Welcome to the panel. We have Mr. Research here, CA, as well as Sir Senior. So welcome to the panel, both of you all. And definitely, so we're discussing, we're chopping up actually the reaction to the video that at the Shoe Make Way did, and I just thought it was a really good take, a really sound take on the discussion regarding Black men, Black women, and how this is aiding in our dissolution, but not just our dissolution, but the extinction of us. And I definitely noticed that there was some really good conversation in the chat regarding, well, do Black men want to get married, or people want to get married in general? And I did research, Mr. Research. I went on my own little researching when you shared in the last video that, or the last live that you attended, that numbers were up as far as Black marriages, and I found that to be correct. They are in certain areas of the United States. Well, not certain areas of the United States, but also certain areas of the world. So there was a two-part to that, but also the reason why it looks, I won't say it looks like it is a rise. It is a rise, but we're right back at where we were for many years, because for many years in the Black community, 30% is about where we were. 30%, 35%. It wasn't getting higher than that. Previously, beyond 5 years ago, it was a decline. For the first time, I think in 15 years, it fell below 30%. So now we're back up to 30% again. So that's definitely that's an improvement. That's definitely kudos, and that's definitely something to celebrate as well as be aware of. But getting that number to climb in general is quite difficult. And remember, you all, as far as we're 30%, but I think white couples are only, I think they're only 40, they're like 40, 45, 42, 45. Actually, Latin and Asian communities have the highest. They have the highest. So with that being said, I'm going to put myself back on mute. And again, gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on board to the panel, and definitely interested in hearing your take on this.
Let me just answer that before you go. 30-second answer. It's really, I don't believe it's really 30%. I've been asking for Department of Justice to include mixed Blacks, because that 30%, oddly enough, is just for the 13%. Have you ever wondered why they keep saying we're 13%? That's because all of us darker skinned hued people that are on the panel right now, those are the only ones who get classified. There's another group of Black people, the mixed Blacks, which is 14.6%. You put that 13% together, that's 27.6% that they don't like to include. So these marriage numbers are very odd because they're only related to the 13% and not the 14.6. I've been arguing that for years. But go ahead, you guys. I just want to insert that.
Thank you, Sir Senior. Did you have some comments that you wanted to weigh in regards to this topic? But thank you, CA. Always appreciate, the statistics going back and forth, because as we know, men lie, women lie, but numbers, they do not lie. Okay, but numbers can be altered depending on where you're getting your information from. Learn that definitely strategically and continuously during my years with journalism. But Sir Senior, we're waiting to hear your take on a couple of these things.
Yeah, I wanted to say salute to you as always. Hit the like button and subscribe, hit the notification bell. That way you can pull up, as quick as possible when you get that notification. Salute to everybody who's in the in the panel, everybody who's in the chat, everybody gonna listen to this on the playback. Drop a comment. But it was some things I find disturbing where we go into this thing where we lie to each other. Black men are lying to Black women, and Black women are lying to Black men, and then Black men are lying to Black men, and then Black women are lying to Black women. If we were more honest, we can get a better result. If I tell you that I really want to be married, but I don't want to marry somebody who is out of shape, then that's me being honest. I want you in the best shape you can possibly be. And being in shape does not always mean you gotta be small. It just means that you're in shape. And if you tell me the same thing, that's you being honest with me. Don't tell me, well, your height don't matter or what size you are don't matter when it really does. Don't tell me how old or young you are, it doesn't matter. Or even if it's my complexion. And then you get with me and we can never get married. Or you get with me and once we get married, we're always complaining because I didn't want you in the first place. Or I didn't want this version of you in the first place. Or you didn't want me in the first place. Or you didn't want this version of me in the first place. I should be man enough. You should be woman enough to tell ourselves and each other the truth. And not only that, we should be telling other people the truth. When I met my wife that I love, she didn't know how to boil water. Or when I met my husband that I love, he didn't have a good job. He became a doctor, a lawyer, a professor, a engineer, a videographer, or whatever it is, 2 years into our marriage. She became the gourmet cook you now see her post pictures and videos of on Instagram 3 years into our marriage. Before that, she kept feeding me rice that was hard. So we don't look at these things and say, okay, well, look at all the flaws that even when we have good role models, their relationships had. Look at all the flaws that we have. We only want to look at, well, what can I get out of it? What do I want? Instead of what the other person wants, what the other person needs. What do I have to give to receive the things that I want? Getting
Um,
married is getting married is work. Any relationship is work. If you're not willing to do the work, then stop complaining.
can I respond to you, Sir Senior?
Yes,
Your
ma'am.
comments? So I think what's based on what you just said, two things I find wrong with interpersonal communication between a man and a woman, as far as relationships goes, is lack of respect for differences and lack of respect for the truth. A lot of people in general don't like being told something about themselves that is negative, even if it's the truth. And a lot of people don't want to tolerate something else that they perceive to be negative about another person. So in that regard, in that you know um, dating pool, there's a lot of dysfunction and there's a lot of like lack of love with that. Um, that's what I got from your comments. Plus, a lot of people I noticed they a lot of men will call a black woman combative if she says she doesn't like something about him because he doesn't want to hear the truth. And then a lot on the flip side, a lot of women will just say basically the same thing, is that he's you know and there's no compromise. Basically, I was talking about this with somebody that a lot of people just don't want to compromise and take the time to work on certain skills. If two people are willing to be together, but that's the thing. A lot of people, they see a few flaws in one or the other or each other, and then they just like they call it quits, just like that. Um, and there is a lot of like lack of honesty there, because some people will lie their way into a marriage, and then later on, like a few years down the line, find out that that's not what they wanted. And it's because people are so afraid to tell the truth, because people don't really respect the truth. People really don't want to hear it, and so we have messy situations like that, or we just have relationships that never really come into fruition and flourish, because two people are jaded by their inadequacies or their insecurities that were brought to the forefront, basically, in the beginning.
So I want to say a great book that I read a long time ago. It's only $4. You can get it off eBay. Look for the $4 version. It's called The Successful Family. You can choose to ignore the Christian elements of it if you are not partaking of that. But look at the information. It's a packed book, packed full of just you as a husband. You really need to read this book. I mean, I'm not even going to say to the women, you as a husband or a potential fiance, you really need to read this book because it takes the thought pattern off of your counterpart as a husband and has you look at the totality of the group that you're leading. And if you're a woman who believes that you're more so of the leader of the family, because it's really for leaders, you should really read this book because it'll have you look not at your partner, but the group success dynamic.
Yes,
Just
that
a
is
drop,
a great book.
just a dropping solutions,
Great.
dropping solutions.
That's beautiful. We want to thank you so much. I did post the name of the book, The Successful Family. Brother CA, do you remember who it's by?
I'm not going to mention who is by. I just want people to go look for the book because who is by may throw people off. Just go look at the book. Look at some sample insert pages, and then go from there.
Is this a come on people / Bill Cosby situation? Because I don't care what anybody says, that's still one of the best books you can have out there.
No, no, no. It's actually extremely detailed. Come on, people. This to me is the best thing I've ever as a guy who when I was engaged to my fiance, this book helped me conform to the thought process of teen. Even though my fiance didn't, it helped me. So that's where I'm at with it.
I want to welcome to the panel my good sis, my sis in faith from Philly, hailing all the way from 215, Sis Hope. You got a fan in the chat. They said, "Whose cute ass face is that?"
I saw that. I was like, "Oh, that's cute."
That is Sister Hope. Absolutely. Welcome to the panel, and definitely go glow in and let have. I definitely want to hear your feedback with regarding this topic, sis.
When Sir Senior was speaking, I was like, everything he's saying is on point. Everything he was saying. While I was sitting, especially, I don't know who the girl sitting on the books, I don't know who that is. But when she was speaking about being a younger person who was interested in getting married and things, and just how the climate is with younger people and dating and relationships and stuff. The only thing that I could think about is that a lot of what's going on with marriage and dating, a lot of it is generational because a lot and I'm glad that she brought up I think she brought it up and I think Sir Senior brought it up that it's not just Black people that are going through this because when you look at like the media and quote unquote reality shows and what they show a relationship is supposed to be like I work with children and some of the things that and I'll admit I watch trashy TV. I will admit it. But some of the tendencies that they have, especially when they're in the 4th grade, 5th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, high school, some of the ways that they deal with the boys and that girls deal with each other, it's like there's a direct correlation between the things that are on TV and the ways that they act with one another, the things that are in music and the way that they, because it's like you see and you're like, this is not the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Like, this is school. Why are you acting like this with this girl? Like, they have a warped idea of what friendship means, a warped idea of how boys are supposed to deal with girls and girls are supposed to deal with boys. I mean, when we were younger, a boy would come past and he'd hit you and, give you a tap because he liked you or something like that. You'd run after him. Now, like I can't tell you how many times I have when I've been on public transportation and kids are getting out of school and I've had to stop boys from grabbing a girl around the neck and pushing her up against the wall. And she's like, stop, no, stop playing. And I mean, like, rough and violent, but taking it as, oh, we just playing, or he like me. And I'm like, no, 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 no. I said, sir, you should not be doing that to her. Ma'am, you should not allow any boy to do that to you. That's not fun. That's not funny. That's not cute. And it's like that. And where are they seeing that at? They're seeing that, especially if they're younger, because their parents are watching it. And their parents aren't making sure that they aren't seeing what they get to watch. And so it filters into, I mean, I've even had to talk to, like, on a trip, going to the zoo or something like that. And before before we tell the bus driver, yo, that's not appropriate for kids to listen to, the kids are singing the song. And one time I asked some girls, I'm like, do you know what that song means? They're like, no. They have no idea that it's talking about them in a derogatory way. They don't hear it. It's weird. Over the beat, they don't hear it. So some of the stuff is like really generational because many of our children do not see, and not just Black children, just children in general. Now, in this society now, either they haven't seen generations past or they don't see now, they don't have examples of what a healthy relationship looks like. They don't have that example. So then, for my young sister up here, possibly people that she has tried to deal with, they didn't have an example of marriage in their family. They didn't have an example of having a healthy relationship, or when we argue, we don't just cuss each other out every time we argue, or a healthy relationship of give and take. Like, they don't have that example. And so then these people are growing up and they're having children. And then they didn't have the example because literally, I see it in a school building. Like, teachers and educators and people who work in schools, they see a lot more than just your kid doesn't know reading, writing, and arithmetic. They see your whole family dynamic. And especially with this virtual schooling, now what we thought we knew, we definitely know now because we see it into these kids' houses. So we hear how the dad is cussing out the mom, or the mom and dad are arguing right in front of the kids. Like, we see it. So then we're like, oh, this is why this comes to school. And it filters in to like, if you generationally in a family, you have not, like, you've seen your mother, your grandmother never be married and dealing with people who have not treated her well, and then your mother is now with people who don't treat her well and has had kids. That's a generational thing because you've never seen the example of something better. You never seen the example. And so now you're having to try to live up to the example. And to what Sir Senior was saying, and the other gentleman who brought up a book, there was a book that I read called The Seven Love Languages. That book is really, really good. And people aren't like, they go into relationships thinking, oh, I'll do this for this person, I'll give this person this thing, or just what can I get out of it? And they don't even know like what's my preferred way of somebody loving me? And do I even care? Like, do I even care about how the other person needs to be loved? Do they even know that? There's a lot of people going into marriage for the day and not for the marriage. That's another thing too. They go into it for the day and the bliss and the dress and the honeymoon, and then they get back and they're like, oh crap, I'm with this person forever.
I got a question when you finish.
Oh, I'm done. I'm done.
Okay. So I'm not going to go too deep into it, but one of my subscribers committed a self-inflicted act. And I want to ask this question. Um, I know you didn't do it intentionally. You more than likely did it subliminally. But you made three examples of males in the negative attacking in some regards. Just, and I know you didn't do it intentionally.
Mhm.
Do you have maybe two examples where women? I'm just curious if it's in your spirit, where or in your observation, where
Mhm.
where women have done something similar to males, because sometimes what happens is subliminally we make these statements: the father did this, the boy grabbed the girl, and then we see
Oh,
in observation that the boy has had inflicted things done upon him, but many of our ladies in charge are not of the
oh,
same
I'm so
energy.
sorry.
Let me just
That's what I
finish.
meant to
Let
bring
me
up.
just
I meant
finish.
to bring
Let me
that
just
up
finish.
too.
Let me just finish. Let me just
Oh,
finish.
sorry.
Many of our ladies who are in charge are not
Mm.
of the same energy
Mhm.
when it comes to the boy. And when they make these speeches about, as you just did, unintentionally, it's always the man is negative, the man is negative. And it doesn't mean to come off that way, but I just don't see a balanced speech. What are your thoughts?
I'm sorry. I interrupted you because that's something that I forgot to say. That is something I forgot to say. Um, I forgot to say something about mothers and boys. Because so in what you said brought it back to me, and I was like, crap, I forgot to say that. But I remember, so at my school, I work with an after school program. And like one thing that has always been on my heart, honestly, is to have some type of organization for boys because there's always stuff for girls. Like even here in Philadelphia, like it was difficult for me to find people to come in and mentor boys. Always hard. And so we had a girl empowerment group come for the girls. And they were talking to the girls, and the girls were doing things and talking and sometimes crying because of what they was talking about or whatever. And so I had my boys, which were like fourth, fifth, and sixth grade. I had my boys. And this year in particular, I had like an even number of boys and girls. So I was like, dang, I got a lot of boys, and I'm here with them. And so I said, you know what? How about we just do a group together? And I was talking to the boy, and I was like, I know I'm a woman. I said, but I love y'all. So, let's try to talk or whatever. And one day we had like a really good discussion, and the boys were talking about how mothers, um, my mom tells me that I'm the man of the house. And he's like, but I'm not a man, I'm just a boy. And I just want to be able to be a boy. And I feel like a lot of things that happen with boys sometimes is because, and like you said, how I unintentionally did that. And, I probably do that. And many women probably do that unintentionally because they are women. And, they mostly see things from a women's point of view. So it definitely wasn't intentional. But sometimes, with not having a male, or sometimes being upset with a male when a male is not there, like the father or something like that, women can put, um, and sometimes even if there was a male in your life, or you had a father and say your relationship wasn't what you wanted it to be, they can put a lot of pressure on boys. And one thing that I had started doing, because I would have problems sometimes with the black boys in my group, and I think one time I talked to my boss and I said, I think, you need to talk to them. I said, because sometimes I think that they get tired of me reprimanding them because they're so busy getting beat down and reprimanded by their mothers. And sometimes that can be really hard on boys, really hard. And one thing I've seen with girls um, is I'm trying to think of how I want to say this. Um, but I tell girls all the time, I'm like, if you don't want it, don't go getting it off the shelf. So if you don't want someone to come at you in a certain way, do not do it. I'm like, because you don't get the you don't get the permission just because you are a girl to say whatever you want to a boy, to do whatever you want to act any type. Because there's been sometimes that I'm like, sis, who are you talking to, sis? No, and the guy is like seething. And I'm like, and when I deal with things like this, I say it right in front of the two people that it's happening with. I'm like, you do not get the right, because and that's another generational thing that boys are taught. You never hit girls, or you don't do this to girls. Well, sis, don't go looking for something if you don't want it coming to you. I tell them that all the time. I'm like, because no, you don't get the right just to do that, just to say whatever, just to act however you want. Because one time a girl kept messing with a great kid in my group, great kid, and she just kept on and kept on and kept on, and he cold cocked her and knocked her on her butt. And did I say, I'm like, you got what you paid for, sis. You went in the store, you went to grab that off the shelf, you got what you paid for. I'm like, because you can't just keep doing that. And I tell girls that all the time. And that plays into some things too, because there's videos on the internet of women being up in a guy's face and sliding them in the head and smacking them in the face and pushing them and stuff. I'm like, but you got to realize you're dealing with a man and you're dealing with a person. And just like there's just so much you can take, there's just so much he can take too. And you can't do that. And I'm like, that's not, I'm like, you got to teach both sides of the coin on saying you don't hit women. Because my mother taught us that. My mother taught my brother, she said, if you ever, um, um, she told my brother, if you ever feel like you have to fight a woman, you don't need to be with her. And she told me and my sister, you don't play with guys like you're fighting. You don't do that. You don't get in some guy's face like you want to fight him. she taught both sides of the coin, not just one. So that's my take on that. I'm done.
I would like to also add that Taylor has a question also that she wanted to pose to the panel. Taylor, if you're still available, go ahead and do so.
Yeah, I didn't have a question. I just wanted to add to Miss. I don't see the name, so can I call you Cute Face?
Oh,
Sorry.
my name is Hope.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I know somebody said who's that Cute Face or whatever. I'm sorry, but oh, okay, Hope. I was just gonna say that I basically that whole girls. I think what you were trying to allude to is the whole girls get picked on by guys they like thing. It does breed a lot of toxic relationships, and I grew up in that environment. Everywhere I lived, there were guys that would make fun of you. Um, you know, maybe not so much like hitting. I experienced that in elementary school, but middle school on back, I mean on up, I experienced guys that would just roast you, and it turns out later that year that they actually had a crush on you, and it's crazy. You know, that's really toxic. And then a lot of girls who don't exit out of themselves or don't know any better exit out of that situation. They grow up thinking guys that show signs of negativity towards them, they feel love for those guys, you know, because that's what they grew up knowing. Like, oh, because people, there was a saying that was always generally said with young people. Because I'm 23, I grew up in this. Like, they'll tell you that a guy that likes you if he picks on you or whatever, pulls your hair, does this or whatever, you know. That's not normal. At least it shouldn't be considered normal. I don't know what other culture does that, but that is a weird thing. And I know what I don't know his name with the suit, but I know he was saying about how women do certain things too, but I just didn't grow up seeing that. I had both parents, but I saw a lot of young boys just being toxic, and I didn't like it. It rubbed me the wrong way because I know that's not what a loving relationship is supposed to be like. That's not what something. But a lot of girls I've seen that happen to, they grow up and they date bad boys. They date guys that are mean, you know, to everybody, including them. So I just
So, so let me just interject real quick. I missed the research. You've been on my show before, but
oh, okay.
uh, it happens the same thing. Sir will tell you the same thing happens to us guys by girls. Girls will pick at us, call us names because they like us. Girls will pick fights with us. Girls will, oh, I want to punch you, that type of stuff. And you won't call that toxic because she's your sister, but it happens identically the same. Nobody tells the boys, unfortunately, that this treatment should be only one sided. So when it happens to you ladies, which it should not, the boys get told, no, let it happen to you, but don't you do it to the other gender. So boys tend to start finding a brotherhood with themselves where they joke with each other and have all these what women call homo tendencies because they can't joke and do that stuff the way women are doing it to them. So they're they're told to put their hands behind their backs and be handcuffed and allow it to happen to them. Unfortunately, we don't articulate this, which is why Sir said facts. So you guys don't know it's happening, but y'all do the exact same thing to us, verbatim.
All right. Thank you. I grew up in, okay, so let me just say this. I grew up in the suburbs. A lot of the girls were not that aggressive because I was a minority anyway within the suburbs. And a lot of the black girls I hung around were just like me, just pretty docile and stuff. So, I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't happen other places, maybe urban areas or in just places that I didn't grow up in. but I did see. I thought it was a normal occurrence for it to just be the guys to do that, because I didn't see it, not because they're my sisters, but because they really just weren't doing it. Because a lot of us were just more mature than that. They say that women mature faster than men. I'm not sure if you agree with that sentiment, but I rest my mic.
So I'll just quickly say the whole mature factor comes from women identify fear more so than boys. Boys don't realize there's a such thing as kryptonite. Women heard about kryptonite and they do everything they can to prepare themselves to never bump into kryptonite. That's what we call mature. So women tend to grow up faster because of the fear element. They don't want to be taken advantage of. They don't want to be caught up in a situation. They leave early. They do this type of stuff. Boys think they can just bump into a brick wall and the brick wall will fall. So it takes longer for boys to realize there is a such thing as kryptonite. And a matter of fact, there's a such thing called red kryptonite too. So that's why boys, many times when they hit 28, 30, they like red kryptonite, but the woman knew that at 12. Just a solution.
Okay.
With my avatar having a Superman jacket, I have no choice but to agree with that last comment.
Yeah, that's a very interesting point that you brought up, Mr. Research. And I guess what I have to actually, I don't really have any further comments. That was pretty good. Thank you.
That's something I kind of wanted to talk on. Crown Beauty was talking about how they don't baby the females as much as they do the sons. I think that's a big thing as well. Is are we as fathers raising daughters that we would want? You know, are we raising our daughters to be women, the type of woman that we wanted to marry? As mothers, are we raising our sons to be type of fathers we wanted for our children? And I think that's a big part of it. The father will spoil this little girl, and now she is a horrible person. The mother will spoil this little boy. Now he's a horrible person. And then we expect the next generation to be better. How is not possible. So we have to start doing things to go in line with what we want. I want to get in shape. That means I can't eat cookie dough ice cream every night in the middle of the night and not get up and exercise in the morning.
I don't appreciate you saying that. I'm
Uh,
only
I
saying because I gotta lose weight. I'm only joking.
I know it's a reality. Like for there to be single parent households, I'm actually used to people just referring to the mother, even though I had a 2 parent household. Um, but I guess speaking from that perspective, seeing the dynamics between what both parents teach the son or the daughter, because I have a brother, a younger brother, and what he was taught was vastly different from what I was taught. I'm older than him by 5 years, so the burden of being the older sibling plus the girl was kind of heavy. you know, I didn't have the same privileges as him, based on gender and age. Um, so I had to start doing. I remember I had to do a lot of character building things such as chores and other things that I had to do within the house and learn and all that stuff. And my brother, he was kind of babied. There were times I felt like he was the favorite child, but I mean, I guess it's the age difference too. But he was there were things that they would say to him and do for him that they didn't do for me. They actually it made it feel for me like the things that the things I had, like the hairstyles and the what you call the extra stuff that you have to give a girl and do for a girl, was a chore. Like it was just an extra expense that they didn't want to be bothered with. And I always felt kind of deep down, I always felt like that they wanted two boys, or that my mother would have rather had another boy instead of a girl, because she realized quickly that growing up I didn't adhere to the whole girly princess thing. My mother used to be a model, and when she had me, she was excited because she thought I was going to be like her, you know. And then when I fell short of that because I was a tomboy growing up, she made a comment basically like it's like having another son basically, and I felt very low for a number of years just based on that comment, because I wasn't a prima donna like her. And so that there's a bit of a, I guess, a burden on the young girls in a black home. And yes, I'm speaking from a two-parent household because I got it from both parents, where they put a lot of pressure on me, but they didn't teach me exactly how to interact with men. That's the thing that was absent. They told me to stay away from men for like the whole time they raised me. They just said that I needed to worry about education and all that. And then they turn around and question my sexuality once they realized I wasn't bringing a guy around the house, and I'm all confused because I'm like, well, why are you asking me if I'm a lesbian when you told me that you would disown me if I ever got pregnant? Of course I stay away from guys. Um, you know. So I grew up kind of not knowing how to interact with men in a way, because my dad would always be like, don't get pregnant. That was his mantra. If I had learned anything from my dad, I could die like years from now, and that's, if anyone asks me what I learned from my dad, it'll be don't get pregnant because that's the main thing he taught me. So yeah, and then what my mom taught me is that basically that don't be a plain Jane, but you keep your head in the books as well, that kind of thing.
I would say if you could, yeah, I mean, whether you married or not, I always tell both men and women this. This is just my little solution. Even if you're married, try not to have a kid until you're like 28, maybe 30, because when you look at the grand scope of timeline, you have a kid at 30, 34. By the time your kid turns 10, you're 40. You're not even halfway into your life cycle. You have so much information to give this kid. You have less information to give this kid at 20, 25, 26. You're more stable at 34, 36. When your kid turns 20, now you're 50. You got a lot of good information for your kid, and you at the prime of your life many a times. Then when you get to 60, there's a lot of well-rounded 60-year-olds. So here's your kid going into 30, getting the benefit of nothing but great information from a person that has achieved. But I always stress to women, never, especially black women. Now, I don't even care if you're in love, you and your guy are great. Try not to have no kids before you hit 30. My ex-fiance, she used to always, I want to have your baby. I used to be like, nope, it's not gonna happen. We're gonna get married first. We're gonna enjoy 5 or 6 years together. It's not gonna do it that way. Now we broke up because she was doing some shady stuff, and she got with the next guy who gave her the kids. Right now they're
Well,
separate.
I have a question
Now,
about that. Um, I'm sorry. Can I ask you a question, Mr. Research, about that specific thing
no
you just said?
worries, no worries. Open
Um,
combat.
so when it comes to okay, so when you say don't have a kid I'm 23, so you said 5 years, I'd be 29. I mean, sorry. draw a blank.
You're actually
Yeah,
28.
I'd be 20. Yeah, 28. But the guy, the guy I'm talking to now is 36. So in 5 years he'd be over 40. So does that rule still apply?
Yeah, because what happens is when the guy is he'll be over 40. So he's how old right now?
36.
So 36. Let's give it 6 years. So he's 36 now. He'll be 42 if you have a kid 6 years from now, right? He's 42. Okay. He goes into his 50. At 52, this kid is 10. At 60 years old, now mind you, dudes are different than women. I think Sir might be able to tell you also, ain't no man scared at 60 years old of giving his son information going to college. That's actually the best time. That's actually the best dad you want to have is the 55, 60-year-old dad. He got a wealth of knowledge. You going to college and your dad is 50 something? This dude ain't figuring nothing out. He's done all his figuring. So even his failures are great information. So maybe for you, but for the guy, him being that, oh, it's not a problem. It's really not.
Okay.
And I only say that for you because as a young woman, enjoy that marriage, enjoy that togetherness, enjoy that time before you bring kids into it. Because you don't want to stay together and have kids be the reason. Explore that marriage first. Give it about a good 5, 6 years, maybe even 7. Explore that marriage. When the kids come in, please remember, when you're having kids, it's for the benefit of the kids, not so y'all can have a puppy. And what happens a lot of times, couples end up having puppies. Oh, it's so cute. I want one. And then one day the puppy turns into a dog and you haven't given the dog no information. And then he winds up on the streets trying to find the information. That's just my suggestion. Somebody might disagree. If you got a better suggestion, go ahead.
Personally, I agree with the whole, yeah, because a lot of people say some weird things about like the purpose of children and stuff like that. I heard someone say the purpose of children is to take care of you when you're old on the reverse. And I don't agree with that. I think you should be able to take care of yourself in your old age, unless you're severely unhealthy, but I wouldn't be counting on being very unhealthy. That's just how I feel about it. I want to be able-bodied and doing my own thing and not living with my kids. I would hate to have to live with my kids when I'm old. And if I hear a lot of people, I guess this is from my family dynamic, I feel like this is a Black thing because I hear other people outside of my family that are Black say this: the kids are there for you to take care of them, and then they take care of you on the flip side. I mean, that would be nice if something happens, but it's like, why are you counting on being wheelchair bound or whatever? And a lot of people say weird things about what the purpose of children are for. My mother, yes.
You know who had something good to say about that? I don't know if y'all heard of him. His name is Dr. Jordan Peterson, and he's looking at it in a philosophical way that the purpose of having kids is to find the heaviest thing, the heaviest burden you can get in life, and you lift it up, and you put all your ideals into it, and you hold it up to God. Hold your children up to God and see if your values could be reproduced in them, and they'll have the energy and the strength to follow and do that for their lineage. So like Dr. Peterson likes to say that you have to take on the adventure of being a father or a mother or a parent. And for you to be that, you have to be a hero, because the natural state of a man and a woman is a hero. Everything else is just is toxicity and pain. But you have to help guide everyone else by being the best person that you could be, and reflect that onto your progeny, and hold it up to the light and see, this is my work and this is what I've done, and I've made life easier for everyone else because I put good children into this world.
Yeah, and but I hate to put my mom on blast, but she said something that I just now realized was wrong because people were telling me that that's wrong. But she said that kids are put on like we have kids to start weaning them off of you. Like basically, she said you have kids to start weaning them off of you and getting them ready for the real world. And once they're 18, it's time to jet or whatever. And so I said this on another live stream, and the whole panel disagreed. They said, no, your kids are for forever. I mean, you still have to be in their lives, and you still have to maintain a bond with that kid that is now an adult throughout their life until one of you dies. They basically were saying it doesn't make any sense for you to just have a kid just so you can bring a new life into the world to get out there and do things,
But
Yeah.
a child will anchor you to this earth. A child will situate you, and society wants you to have a child for those reasons of being more responsible as an adult. And well, God wants you to have children, whether you believe in God or not per se. But I think like it's the hardest thing you can do as a human being, and it's excellent when you thrive at it. It's excellent when you're an active parent. It's excellent when your child is a pillar of the community and he's passing on the knowledge that you gave him to the next. Was that like? I think it's a difficult job, but the most important thing you could do is to imprint on your child because it's just the right thing to do at this point,
Yeah. When it comes down to child rearing and having children, in India, in certain parts of India, I should say, I want to say the oldest child, son rather, when he becomes of age and he gets married, his parents move in with him, and his parents help raise their children. So that way, his children can be able to know how his family is and how their culture is, and how they be able to groom and be able to help prepare him to be able to have his family move in with him, and so on, so on. In many other cultures, the children eventually do take care of the parents. They don't put their parents in nursery homes or have a caretaker. The children become the caretakers. One of the things that has happened.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, it's fine. One
Oh,
of the things. Okay, go ahead.
sorry. I was gonna say, yeah, I do believe in the whole no, not putting them in a home or and all that, and I just I don't know, like Crowned in Beauty like addressed what I said earlier, where she said something about I'm saying that now when I'm young, but when I get older, I'm gonna start looking for the kids. I mean, yeah, empty nest syndrome is probably evident. It's probably inevitable, but personally, I wouldn't want to live with my kids. Like, I don't want to like I don't know. I just feel like that's weird to have to be relegated to that when I probably am gonna have my own house anyway, and hopefully my future husband, will still be alive and we'll be doing our own thing.
Right, but Taylor,
Yeah.
you're forgetting that plan is not to outlive your
You're
You
broken.
sound choppy. I can't hear you.
but okay, I'm gonna try to say like a 23. You're 23, but when
Mhm.
you're 70, 80, that is not even, it's not even suggested that people of certain ages live by themselves. Your body doesn't work the same way. you know um your bones don't move the same way. Falling down isn't just a matter of, well, I can get back up. Falling down could be detrimental in staying down. So I don't, I hear you, and of course that's not anyone's ambition. But the fact of the matter is that you're going to, you know, when you age, certain things don't work the way they're supposed to work. The way you're used to them working, rather, not the way they're supposed to work. They're doing exactly what they're supposed to do, you know.
And also
So
too, okay,
yeah, it's that's just something to consider. It's not to deter you, but you have to think realistically. You have to think
and see
Oh,
too,
okay.
also, it's not also so much as that
be
you
80
living
years
with your
old, of course,
children.
with your spouse. Yeah.
So it's not so much as that you're living with your children. It's also that you have a place, but your children have a place. So your children who are part of your legacy, now the place that maybe you have to move in with your children, you can now, because you have your own place, you and your husband have your own place, you two can rent that home out. So that way, whoever your children, your grandchildren become, they now have a place to stay, and or they also have a college fund, or whatever the case may be. So it goes into the generational income, generational wealth, excuse me, that also helps out that many other cultures do that we here as Black Americans do not.
Can I say? All right.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yes, go ahead and
Um,
weigh in.
I'm hearing an echo. Okay. Um, it's kind of easy to understand this, but grandparents are an asset, and grandchildren are a natural antidepressant. I think the real thing we need to understand is like it's good that when you love your mother-in-law, when you love your father-in-law, it doesn't become a burden because you trust that person, and that goes into picking the right partner who wants to be part of your family completely to the point that hell, it could be if I'm arguing with my wife, my mother is on my wife's side, or vice versa. If we get along with each other better as human beings, it wouldn't even be an issue. It'd be natural that the mother is like, oh, she can't live by herself anymore. She's moving in with us. We're gonna make her a room, and she's gonna be the babysitter. She's gonna be the extra cook. Sometimes that happens, of course. That's the older generations, but it does do wonders to prolong the life of the grandparent that she gets to see her grandkids because children are God's antidepressants. Right?
Yeah,
That is
that
so
okay,
sweet. And I can
that
definitely
puts
add to that
oh,
because I can definitely add to that. Thank you. I can add to that because let me tell you, when because again, I was married young. So I was married at 19. So by the time I was your age, 23, I hadn't had children yet. And I remember, so my ex-husband's uncle passed. So we were in New Orleans. My oldest brother-in-law had just had twins, and the father-in-law, my ex-father-in-law, came to me and said, hey, can you watch the twins while you know me and he named his wife my ex-mom-in-law, and he was like, we're gonna go over to the family's house because the funeral was the next day. And I remember just being so insulted. Like, I was like, I remember saying to my ex-husband, I said, if I wanted to be stuck with some babies, I would have some. I was so freaking just out of my mind with selfishness. And let me tell you, I've been divorced 8 years. So that lets you know how my mind state really played out. And uh, my former mom-in-law, they're just when we have conversations now, I apologize to her just how silly I was thinking, because as the brother just stated, you know having a grandchild around, that does, and especially in the wake of losing her brother-in-law, how much of a, and we did end up, of course, babysitting the children. But I remember that night, I just really felt like, my gosh, I'm over it. She did most of the work. She was bathing them, and I think the only thing I did was I changed the diaper or two. But I just remember just being like, oh my gosh, I'm so over this, because your mind state is different. But now, like I said, at the age that I am now, I'm always apologizing to her in my selfishness because I just thought of something totally different. So, you know, you'll go through different stages. But I think before we even get to, you know, having children, because I do think that is something that people should think about in the here and now. So I applaud you, Taylor, that you are thinking about that, because I think so many of our youthful people, like I said, when I was 23, I wasn't even thinking. I had often said if I did not have children by the time I was 30, I wasn't going to have them. And lo and behold, I had my daughter at 27 and my son at 29. But more younger people should be talking about marriage to when having children. Okay, before having children, they should be talking about marriage, and then they should be talking about what does that mean with having that dynamic and how that changes the relationship. Too many of us, and I'm just going to be very frank here, because whether we're getting married or not, we are leading the numbers with having babies out of wedlock. And, you know, when I throw that statistic out there, I'm always, you know, kind of challenged with the pushback of, well, that's because, you know, the white girls are having abortions. Yeah, well, we're having abortions too. We're having abortions too, and you know, and we're having more of them, and a lot of us are having them later. We're having them later, so you know, we may have the ones at 19 and 20 years old, but you know, by the time we get 26 and we say, hey, you know, I don't want to have any more children, that's when, you know, that's when we, you know, predominantly started having them. So I think we do need to have some real honest conversations. I do want to welcome to the panel Brother John, as well as Neo, if you all are available. I definitely would love to hear your input on this lively discussion tonight in regards to is the war that Black men and Black women are exhibiting the dissolution, are we aiding to our own extinction with this behavior? Definitely would love to hear your input, especially Brother John being a young man about Taylor's age, I believe, and of course Neo being a married man. Definitely would love to hear your input on this, fellas. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Hey, Courtney. If you guys don't mind, I'd like to throw a spiritual Molotov cocktail into the crowd and run away before I lose signal. As you guys know, I'm always known for losing signal for some reason mid-rant. Is that okay with everyone?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, good to hear. This warfare, to me, well, I won't even call it a warfare. We're not even going to go into that part yet because I can go too far into it and don't have time for that. Okay. What we're looking at, personally, my personal opinion, is an opportunity for self-reflection. Okay, your relationship is an opportunity for you to learn who you are and learn, more importantly, how to love yourself. When you have your child as well, that is the greatest opportunity for self-reflection because your child is going to be a direct reflection to you, your past relationships, your relationship with your parents, or your relationship with anybody else that you hold in high regard. You'll see it in them, whether you like it or not. And it is a perfect opportunity for your child to teach you something about yourself. In every action that they do, in every action that they every learning experience that your child has, you've gone through that same stage. You've responded the same way that that child has responded. You've said some of the same things that that child has said. And you get an opportunity to see that outside of yourself. This is the ultimate way of being able to do shadow work. This is the ultimate way of being able to journal in your mind the things that have caused the greatest pain in your life. Where, let's say, you've had a troubled childhood and your parents split up, or your mom hit your dad, or your dad hit your mom, things of that nature. All of these traumas, all of this hurt, right, reflects in you all of the self-inflicted pain that emanates from you. You've gone and reproduced yourself, and now this child is doing those same things that you were doing. Now you get an opportunity to explain to yourself, to your child, the things that have happened, and how to now, as a team, you and your child can navigate out of the pain, away from it. Same goes for budding relationships. While you're dating and having these conversations before you get married. Hell, if you get married at all, you get an opportunity to see the exact thing in that opposite person, the things that trouble you. Because let's face it, you can't love somebody until you love yourself. And you can't love yourself until you learn what it is to love somebody else. This is the very definition on a spiritual plane, what is yin and yang. That darkness inside the light and the light inside of the dark. You are attracted to this. And if you don't like what you see in that other person, well, there's your opportunity to reflect. Why is it that you don't like that? Do you see it in yourself? It's not necessarily a matter of an opportunity to change it, rather than it is to repair it in yourself. And once you repair it in yourself, then it's reflected back onto the other person that you're with, your reflection, your opposite, your child, your relationship, even, and I will go as far as even reflecting into your parents, where your parents at an older age can see something different and learn that it's not too late to repair your hurt. So all of our conversations and whatnot, that's what I feel that it's going to. So now that I've gotten that off my chest and shared that, I'm gonna get back on the road and keep listening to you guys' conversation because it's great. It's entertaining me like greatly. All right, Ashe, peace and blessings. Asheo.
Asheo. Thank you so much, Brother Neo.
You're welcome. Bye bye.
Okay, so John, I did see your link in the private. I am copy and pasting and I'm putting it into the main room right now. Thank you so much. But definitely would love to hear your contribution or your input regarding this topic. I know that, like I said, you're about Taylor's age. Do you see yourself wanting a financial partner? Because you're into the finances. So would you see having a wife as having a financial partner as you go into, because that's what is said as well. I forget who mentioned it, but earlier in the chat, they were able to convey that Janaya, that was one who said it, that other demographics look at marriage differently than we do. We look at, I think Brother Sir Senior hit it on the head. Oh, does she look good? She look right? She looking, how is he looking?
The trophy
Is he
setup.
tall? Is he, good looking? How he
The
makes me
trophy
feel.
setup.
Oh, what?
The trophy setup.
The trophy setup, right? But other demographics, they look at, okay, what's that credit score? Okay, what are you earning? Okay, your dad is who? Generational wealth looks like what? Okay, y'all own properties where, they look at it as building kingdoms. They're more legacy minded than we are, but we love to throw around that term. But our legacy is culture. Our legacy is culture, not coins. How do you think? Why do you think that is, John? And what do you see for yourself in regards to that? I'm going back on mute.
I think a lot of I think a lot of people see aesthetics, and aesthetics dominate their decision when it comes to something that's supposed to be strategic. Of, like you mentioned, who are you connected with, who you're affiliated with, who you do business with, who your family does business with. Your family knows who. Your family knows the mayor. Your family knows the president. It's more deeper than what the eye seeks. But it's pretty much aesthetics. But I'm done.
Hmm. Me personally, I wouldn't mind if it was about like um, making your relationship a consolidation of wealth. I wouldn't mind it as long as you're happy and as long as your children are healthy. Um, the real question is, how do we do that in this economy? How do we establish a foundation of young men who know who embrace the responsibilities of being a provider, even if he's a partner? And I mean, how do we teach young? I'll say it again. How do we teach young black men to conform to the dominant power structure if we're giving them mixed messages about um, appropriate behavior? What's the right kind of black they should be? The kind of you know what I always say. It's like we beat down young black boys with lectures about authentic blackness and stuff like that, and then when they don't conform, when they don't when they work outside of the system, we look our noses down at them. It's like it's we're getting slapped on both sides of our faces. It's a catch-22 situation. Either you want me to conform to the white power structure or you don't. You know, so I would like to see a ceasefire in promoting any kind of this person ain't black kind of rhetoric for one thing, and I'd like to see a ceasefire of men attacking women. Period, and not because I don't think the situation would be so cantankerous between men and women if we didn't start off judging each other for either not being um, I'm gonna say masculine enough for the streets or lady enough, you know.
I feel personally that the key to true financial freedom between black men and women, if that's what we're still talking about, is entrepreneurship. My dad preaches this heavy and in investing like heavily in things like stocks and also just owning businesses, having an online business, anything that you can generate money from without actually having to work for somebody, like somebody that you'll never see like in corporate or whatever, HR. You're basically being your own boss. I feel like that would give us a better financial standing, especially young black boys. They need to learn the importance of that.
But the thing
Because
about
my
uh,
okay,
the thing, oh, I just want to interject a little bit point like how are you going to be an entrepreneur if you don't have any kind of guidance or mentorship? You have to do research on whatever field that you're trying to establish yourself in, and that's where a lot of lineage comes in. Like sometimes you're going to have to be how can I say? You're going to have to schmooze. You're going to have to talk up to people so that you can get information, and information is power. Because with that information comes the business opportunities. You know, like it's like I think what I'm trying to say is black men are expected to be unnaturally antagonistic. It's you know, even if you're an entrepreneur, you're gonna have to have clients. You know, that's all. You could go on.
Yeah, so what I was saying about that, I guess a few solutions other than creating families who are business minded, that's in the future, that's moving forward. But for the people who missed out on having parents that were business minded, I feel like maybe we should there should be somewhere where we can create, spaces for what young black um, boys and girls, men and women, where we have classes and literacy programs, and I mean financial literacy programs for young kids. I mean, I think what was Umar Johnson was trying to do something like that or have a school, but it didn't work out because everybody knows why that didn't work out. I think LeBron tried to do something like that too. I don't know if it's gone underway, but people like that, yeah, people need to like stand up and create spaces like that for even at the basic level, just having a financial literacy course for young and I'm talking about as early as elementary school. Um, it just facilitating a certain mindset and also marketing it to the parents so they know about this stuff, because a lot of parents probably with kids who are 8, 9, 10 years old probably don't know that they can do that for their kids and put them in something like that.
Well, Umar Johnson actually still has his school, and Nike made the school for LeBron.
Yeah, Umar has it. It's just not open, but he has secured the building, so that
Okay. Yeah, my
still
bad.
is
I
a
wasn't
work in
sure.
progress. But he does have the building. So are there are people, there are definitely different avenues. Boyce Watkins, the same thing. So you have people that are doing it virtually, but again, a good point that you did make there, and excuse me, Sir Senior, because I don't know if you were going to say this as well, but more parents, more people just need to be aware that these type of programs exist. But I will say this, with the financial literacy courses and financially minded demographic, or the sector of the demographic that are like that, what I have found a lot of times is that they are not understanding of that stream of people that there are too many of us that are just struggling so much day to day that we can't even come up to grasp what information is needed to start to understand and appreciate fiscal literacy. You understand? And I'm just talking about day to day. People literally, they're living in hotels, day to day. They don't even have apartments or homes, and I just think that a lot of times there's a missing of the mark that I have found with a lot of people from that fiscal literacy world. They're very much like, oh, if you just had your finances straight and get your finances and get some property and invest in some stocks and da 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 da. And I'm like, okay, that's great. And even tomorrow with my children, we're in our curriculum tomorrow, we're discussing stock options. But that's hard to tell someone to get into studying that and getting on that when a lot of us are struggling day to day. Literally on the day that the eviction moratorium lifts, the end of this month, 4 million people are going to be at risk. There are 4 million people nationwide that are on hold on dockets for as soon as the eviction moratorium lifts. So we got to be real honest. We got to be real honest. We got to be real straight with it and have to understand and appreciate that. That sounds good, but as used to be stated on Conan O'Brien, it's all academic. It's all academic. It's all just thinking, and it's great to think, of course, but when you actually have to deal with the meats and the bone, the meat and the fat of it, conversations, because we're so much in a rat race. The majority of us, the majority of us are in so much of a rat race. We can't even have these conversations about building and about getting credit straight, and just it just can be overwhelming. So with that being said, excuse me for
Hello. Hey.
Y'all think
I think
she
she,
fell out?
yeah, I think she's signed out or something. I think she's in the comments now. Does anyone have anything to add to that or something to say?
Yeah, I I just wanted, I just wanted to get onto this conversation because of, when y'all was talking about, to go back a little bit, when y'all was talking about how little boys and little girls relate to each other. I just wanted to point out that, like, the little boys are being taught that they have to express themselves, that they have to show their worth by being aggressive, by penetrating the social barriers of these little girls. And that, for what it's worth, it kind of works when they're younger, because little girls are so taught to be quiet and demure, and to see a young boy confident when he approaches you, when he get behind your little strong black woman body armor, and he's charming or something like that, or is he strong and forceful, it becomes like a yin and yang thing. So young girls get attracted to aggressive, assertive young boys, but that kind of aggression and assertiveness doesn't work in the adult, in the real world. It could get you fired. It could get you into a lot of fights. And there's this hard left that, once again, society expects young black men to take, from being ultra assertive confidence and dominance and having street smarts, to being conformist, rational, pragmatic, and understanding consequences of bad behavior. And it's troubling that we don't tell our young boys that, that stuff you're doing right now ain't gonna be cute forever. So maybe you need to start listening to older people and distancing yourself from your boys, because your boys are your friends are your biggest influence on behavior. That's one of the things I just wanted to say, that young boys sexualize themselves, and it makes them attractive to young girls, whether those girls are afraid of them or not. And goody goodies, nerds, they don't. They sisterify young girls. They treat young girls like they're their sisters, and that has a lot of consequences, because that's how you end up in the friend zone. Don't ask me how I know. I'm just saying. All right. So I just wanted to touch up on that one point about young boys and girls relating to each other. And then there was something else, but I think I'll talk about that later. Anybody have anything?
Yeah, I have something to say. I mean, as far as like young black male nerds go, I mean, y'all see my icon. I'm a nerd. I've always been a nerd growing up. And
Go ahead.
Oh, Omega?
Yeah, we're listening.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to touch on that too. Yeah, I wanted to kind of touch on that also.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Let's talk it out.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah, I'll just make my comments after, I guess. Yeah.
her internet connection is lagging.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah,
well,
go
I'll just
ahead.
say what.
It does that to me all the time every time I live stream.
Yeah, I'll just say what I have to say real quick while she's kind of lagging. Yeah. So on the flip side, with like female nerds, they like what I notice is black male nerds don't want black female nerds. I mean, Urkel didn't want Myra. He wanted Laura. So, that's the thing.
That's true.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, that's the thing. No, that dynamic that they showed in Family Matters is a real thing. I've seen it and I've lived it. Yeah, it really is. The nerd, everybody, it seems like everybody in the black community doesn't want somebody that would actually be the most ideal partner for them, which is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's basically yeah, because growing up I liked other black male nerds, but they were into either white women or somebody that was considered a popular girl. So, it was just it was just insane, you know?
Yeah,
And so I was like, okay.
But everybody likes the popular person. So for the most part, everybody likes a popular person.
Yeah,
Like if you
of
go
course,
and you
but that's
find like, but what you are attracted to mate with isn't always, who you will always want to mate with forever. I mean, most dudes will say, yeah, I'll mess around with Beyonce, but a lot of dudes wouldn't marry her. I
right,
mean,
but
if she was single, 'cause,
they
she's
miss
already.
out on that experience as a young person. Like, um, there are a lot of dudes that I
that's a
went to high
tragedy.
school with that they're probably. I'm sorry, what happened?
I mean, that's a tragedy, really. That's a real tragedy because, like,
Yeah, they yeah.
because you're missing out on maybe a life. If I mean, you're missing out on a lifetime friend who will know you when you don't have anything, and who has an infinite amount of not I ain't gonna say time, but at least have some patience to understand some of the quirky things that you're interested in life. And you're right. For every nerd who, hell, for every incel, there's probably a girl that was following him around. Was like, I wonder if he likes me. You know, it's a shame. It's a shame. Yeah.
Yeah, and for those of you who think a girl can't be put in the friend zone, that's not true. She absolutely can be put in the friend zone. I hate when guys like, I guess in the manosphere or just in black YouTube claim a girl can't be put in. You act like there aren't female Urkels running around. I mean, I'm not saying I was like that per se, but I did wear glasses and they were crooked because I broke them a couple times, and I still wear glasses actually. And I was just I was one of those female nerds that would just say random facts in school. I'd be like, "Hey, did you know that dolphins get high off of pufferfish and stuff like that?"
Yo,
And
they
that
really
koalas,
do. It's amazing.
yeah, and koalas get high off of their main food supply, which is eucalyptus leaves. I was like, wow, they're just stoners like out here, like, and people, would give that dry laugh, like, and I'd just be like, okay. I'd be like,
But
dang, I was just trying to give us that. Hmm?
you know, what the problem is. It's simple. It's the fact that black female nerds, they don't sexualize themselves. They don't sexualize themselves, and like as soon as you catch a guy, yeah, as soon as a young lady catches a guy's attention with her feminine sex appeal, it's hard for him to pay attention to anything else. And you can't tell them to go. You can't tell the girls go be thotty or something like that. Go hike up your stuff up and wear tight stuff. It's counterproductive. It's just that it's a tragedy that we're never on the same sheet of music. We're never on the same page when it comes to attraction and maturity. And it's so good to see like when a brother knows he got a good girl and like y'all just the best friends because those are the kind of relationships that last. And I think we need to start fostering that. But once again, bad girls sexualize themselves and bad boys sexualize themselves, and sex is the biggest attention getter.
Right.
You get what I'm
It's, yeah. And on
saying?
top of that, anytime a blurred, like a black female nerd, kind of like, flowers up and kind of, becomes more attractive to, or more visible, I should say, to guys, she instantly loses nerd status. I mean, there are some people that meet and know me now that would like they say you're not a nerd. I'm like, oh well, tell that to all the people I grew up with. Like seriously, that they'll say that I'm, or they'll use words like you're too good looking, like nerds are bad looking or whatever. They'll say that you're too funny, you're too this and stuff like that to be a nerd, as if nerds have dry personalities. There's like a thing, but as soon as a girl, a black female nerd, like kind of like has a sensual kind of way about her, she loses nerd status. I mean, and so it's like, which is why which is why there's a stereotype that Black female nerds don't really exist, because a lot of them just grow up and decide that that stuff didn't get them a guy when they were younger, so they're gonna tone it down, maybe take off their glasses. I haven't worn my glasses consistently in years because I don't like, they're really big lenses and the prescription is kind of thick. I don't wear them that often because I'm nearsighted anyway, so I can see what's in front of me, just not 50 yards away or whatever. But when I wore my glasses all the time in school, every time I put them on, people would be like, people be clowning me. So I would just, I eventually kind of adapted to not wearing my glasses as often. And to be honest, that's an issue, because every time somebody says hi to me from like 20 yards away, I can't even tell who that is, because I've conditioned myself to not look nerdy, and because I used to have a really nerdy wardrobe. I mean, I wore jeans and like affirmation shirts all the time with my glasses and my hair pulled back. Every time I got my hair braided, I would just pull it back and put on my glasses. I never wore it down. And so I didn't really get a lot of attention from guys, and guys definitely knew I was a nerd then. But if you ask anybody, am I a nerd now? Like, if you say, hey, Taylor, is she a nerd? They'd be like, are we talking about the same person? Because I guess I just adapted to that kind of, I guess not seeming as nerdy. And I don't tell people random facts anymore unless I've known them for a while. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, I didn't mean to cut you off. Were you finished?
Yeah, I was. It's okay.
I don't know, like, because everybody doesn't like you being real personal, and I'm a empath, so I'm a real personable person. But you have to embrace yourself and find a happy medium from who you usually be and who you want to be, and that's the persona you have to show the world. So you're not being somebody else, but you're putting your best foot forward. And
I mean, I identify as an empath too. Sorry for cutting you off, but I identify as one too. I just evolved. I'm not saying I'm hiding parts of myself. I've just kind of evolved into something else, or just a different version of myself.
Well, I mean, you need your glasses. That's hiding a part of yourself. You blind. You blind, sweetie. You blind. So I want you to see me. So I'd rather you see me and look a little goofy than you be blind. Like, I want you
No,
to
I
see.
still wear them sometimes. I just started back wearing them again. Yeah.
So that's just my thing, is that you have to find the right. You was giving your best things to the wrong person. It's like a comedian. A comedian can go in one club and have the best jokes, but his audience is wrong. You are giving your best material to the wrong audience. For example, I know for myself, and I know a handful of other dudes who love a chick who, spit random facts. I'm a random a random fact spitter. Like, I say random stuff, like that's my personality. My
Right.
kids call me Wikipedia before the internet, because I'll hit you with a random fact for no reason.
But at least you put it in a realm and range of something that motherfuckers. Oh, my bad, Courtney. Something that people can actually cling on, relate to. Like, I do that with finance and business and shit.
Yeah, and
Random facts type of trivia shit.
yeah, and the thing is, like, I can go on and on about, like, I love the show Batman and the subsequent show Batman Beyond from the 90s, and I can go on and on about my theories and Easter eggs and all the stuff I know about the DC world. But and I did that in high school, and the only guys that gravitated towards me because of that stuff and were drooling were white guys. Black guys thought that stuff was corny, in my school. And I never I never met a black guy that was a heavy diehard DC or Marvel fan in high school. Well, actually, there was one. He was a biracial guy, and but he liked white women, and he never really knew I was into that stuff because I didn't know he was into it until later. But I can go on about Marvel theories and why how Captain America got old at the end of Endgame and all that stuff, um, and stuff like that. I love talking about that type of stuff, but I learned to kind of not around black guys because they were like, oh, what is she talking about, that type of stuff. So yeah, I know all the theories and Easter eggs about the Marvel Cinematic Universe and DC and stuff like that, and even comics and all that. And I read a ton of books. And I just
Yeah, but
you know
I think Sir Senior hit it right on the head, Taylor. I think you were
Mhm.
just giving you're giving that the who you are to the wrong people. And that's one thing that I said that I realized once I got out of my 20s, so to speak, I realized that my whole 20s was really me trying to appeal to multiple men. When and I'm definitely trying to tell you this before, but I don't think you'll have the same issue that I did. You don't come off as selfish, but my 20s, that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to get like, this guy, that guy. I wanted every guy to want me. And in my 30s, it was like, wow, my husband was there the whole time, but I didn't want him because he was there. I used to have a running joke, and it might not be funny for everybody, but I used to say, I don't do husbands. I guess that's why, I'm divorced. So, but I always
Oh,
say
you
that
saw that from House.
I always say that in reference to I've never had an affair with a married man, that sort of thing. But that's one thing that I realized in my 30s, that it's not about trying to get all of the guys. That Taylor, that one that is nerdy and has all the random facts, oh, that's good for there's a like my ex-husband liked Wu-Tang and played the xylophone. He was a total nerd, he was my biggest crush. I'm talking about even over Michael B. Jordan, and I know
Oh
he's
my god.
taken. I know he's taken, but Conan O'Brien. Conan O'Brien is my number one crush. Like a perfect score on the LSAT and the SAT. What? That's hot to me. I want that. But you're right. Girls like us, where we fall short, I think, as a people consistently, because like Brother John said, and Sir also hit on, and I think Lewis might have hit on it too, is that we look for what we want the appearance of a relationship to be. And I love what you said, Taylor. Too many of us, there's a perfect someone walking around for us, but we're just, yeah, I was Myra. I was a Myra. I wasn't a Laura. And it's so funny that when people, yeah, people just automatically think, oh, because, I have certain, for lack of a better term, assets, that I'm just like, I was just popular girl. No, I wasn't. No, I went to school with Vince Carter. I went to high school with Vince Carter. Vince Carter, and I was on the dance team with his girlfriend. He wasn't checking for me. I remember he asked me to I facilitated note passing between him and this girl named Anita Brown. And I was just always in awe. I was like, I'm here, I know all his stats. I know all of like this basketball stuff, but he got me passing notes to Monita Brown. So I'm dropping some gems, dropping some history tonight. But I'm like that. Yeah, and I look at me and Manita Brown now, and don't get me wrong, Manita Brown is beautiful. She's a cute girl, but Manita still ain't into no basketball, and she still ain't into whatever. But that was who he was, passing notes with. So I
Yeah.
think everyone kind of, I think we can relate to that more than what we realize. But I love what who said it, that yeah, that does happen. We get overlooked, and it doesn't matter. But I had to start realizing, like I said, it doesn't matter what we think other people should think. It just matters what that one thinks about us. Because at the end of the day, even if a man can have multiple wives, only one your peen can only go into one pump at a time. Okay, that's
Uh,
just the way it is. Okay,
yeah,
and
Omega. Sorry, sorry. Go
and
ahead.
no, go ahead. But that's all I wanted to say. We want to everyone. We're wrapping it up. But I want us to give the one piece of information that we learned or that we kind of, that we're processing from tonight in relation to this topic because this was a great chat, guys. So I would love for everyone to speak as you appeared on the panel. Okay, so I'm going back on mute. And I think the last person to come on was John out of this group. So you'll have the last word tonight, John. All right.
Um. Okay, I guess because I'm at the top left. I don't know. uh. I guess before I say the closing words, I wanted to address Crown and Beauty's comment about, like, it says, yeah, if you were walking around high school talk about that, you were probably very dry. No, that's a common misconception that people that are into like theories and stuff like that in fictional realm are dry. I was very funny in high school. A lot of people thought I was funny. It's just that I wasn't a hit with a lot of black guys. So yeah, I wasn't a hit with black guys in that regard. But everybody else liked me, as far as that, because I was very funny. I've never had a dry personality ever. Like, it's from the time I was little girl, I've always had sauce. So I guess the closing comments that I'll make, and then I'll just sign out and be in the chat. We need to have a sense of camaraderie and community, and we need to facilitate true love for one another in this community, because this really isn't it with the whole. It's really okay. So with the whole people not wanting what people wanting what they can't have, and people not wanting what this makes sense for them, whether they know it or not, is that people, we need therapy. I think we literally collectively need therapy as a group of people, because I'm just seeing left and right um so many things that are wrong with what people are saying and what people are doing and how people are treating each other in the black community. And it's very telling. It's very disheartening, and it's very telling to the amount of psychological trauma we've sustained over all these decades, and how it's broken down the fabric of our community, and we need to build it back up. It's kind of like enamel. Like, I'll just use this as an example. Tooth enamel. They always tell you at the dentist that your tooth enamel um, will get weaker over time if you don't do anything to strengthen it. And what a lot of people do, they continue to let it get weaker and weaker until they have gingivitis and all this other gum disease and stuff like that. And they have to take measures to reverse instead of the preventative measures that they should have taken. Now that they're in the reversal stage, it gets harder, to come back from that whole thing, because you're in the early stages of gingivitis. You gotta brush your teeth, and your gums are bleeding, so you gotta take care of that issue and stuff like that. And it's just, we're in the whole doing patchwork to the community, basically, and that's where we are right now. And it needs to I feel like if we keep doing these spaces and preaching this stuff to the younger demographic, because they're the ones that's going to help us. The people who don't have kids already, who aren't like telling their kids all kinds of crazy stuff, like perpetuating all these stereotypes, the people who are like me, we need to reach those people, because that's what's going to save this, really. I rest my mic.
Salute to everybody on the panel who came in and out on the panel, everybody in the chat, everybody on the flag. I thought it was interesting how we um, went over a lot of the same things tonight. And the long and short of it is that we really have to find out who we are and what we're looking for and work towards those things, not be distracted. if we stay true to ourselves and stay, and we'll be able to do the things that we need to do to make the differences and changes in our lives and in the lives of our loved ones, if they are blood family or not. Everybody be safe, be blessed, be certain.
Same to you. Same to you. Yo, Courtney,
Yep, I'm here.
I want to thank you for allowing me on your panel. It's always a pleasure, and any type of updates when it comes to our business agreement, I'll be able to hit you up as well. So, respect to you, NC Worker. Respect to everybody on the panel, everybody in the chat. Please subscribe to Real Deal Financial. And if anybody wants to book e-commerce consultation or stocks and crypto as well, email me at bhndf25@gmail.com. Courtney, thank you. It was a pleasure. Everybody have a nice, blessed, and safe night.
All right. So I guess it's up to me next. All right. Thank you, Courtney, for having me on the panel. I've become kind of addicted to these conversations, and I want to go back on a little bit of history. We, as African Americans, are taught that our history is holding us back, and I think that we need to go back to understand what actually happened to us as a people. Um, Academically speaking, you have to understand that melanated skin, as beautiful as it is a useful tool if you want to other someone. Society has othered us and they've consolidated their wealth between themselves, and it was changing in the 60s, and in the 70s it became intolerable, and rather than ever having the therapy that we needed, instead of actually going through what attracts us as black people to each other, the 80s gave us a false prosperity, and the 90s gave us bling, and we put bling and false prosperity over our wounds. And I think we, as a people, need to get rid of the false pretenses of American opulence and wealth and all of that. Remove the scabs and actually heal each other and put some Bactine on those wounds from the 1800s and what have you, because until we stop the bleeding and we cauterize the wounds of our history, we're never, not only we're never going to get over those injuries, but we're going to start blaming each other for being shot by the system in the first place. And that's what I'm going to call, like maybe Cynthia G is doing. She's literally blaming black men for the fact that the black diaspora was shot back in the olden days, and that is counterproductive. Black men have been doing it too. So, if anything, if we take anything from what I've said, is that we need to get rid of the false edifices of our injuries as a people and clean the wounds of a bygone time so that we could heal each other as men and women and move on from there. And that's all I have to say. Thank you for having me.
Oh, well, excuse me. I'd like to say thank you to Omega for allowing me on her panel as always. Very nice hearing everyone speak, even some new people as well. Um, one of the things I was taken away was, regardless of things that we had happen to us in the past, we can always have a better future by starting now and start doing the things we have to do so that we can have a brighter future. Therapy is definitely needed. Many of us have what I call the scars of the mind, which are things that are psychological and emotional, painful for all of us to see and to deal with at times. But with therapy as well as self reflection and wanting to do better for ourselves, we'll eventually be able to be better people than who we are today. And as always, thank you all for listening. I hope everyone have a great day.